Welcome to a Record Searchlight chat with Reading's two new City Council members. I'm Jenny Espino, reporter for the Record Searchlight, and I'll be your host. Our guests today are Kristen Schreder and Brent Weaver, the top vote getters in the November 4th election. They're here to talk about what life has been like post-election and the issues that matter to you. They are a busy pair as they assume their new duties. They will be sworn in tomorrow night at the council meeting, and on Wednesday, they will speak at the Reading Merchants Crime Watch meeting. This chat will be in two parts. Ms. Schreder will take the first half hour of the program, and Mr. Weaver, who is in the studio, will take the second half. We want to thank them for their participation. We also thank our live audience who is watching on Reading.com. We invite you to participate in our forum by tweeting the hashtag #RSLiveChat. Your questions and comments will be shown on Reading.com during the program, and if there are any, we will grab a few of your questions to ask our guests. We invite you to participate in the forum by tweeting using the hashtag #RSLiveChat. We want to thank them for their participation, and we'll start with Kristen first. Welcome.
Hi.
It's good to have you here, and I guess we can start off by you telling us what life has been like after this election.
Oh, probably a little bit quieter post November 4th. We were quite busy leading up to and the day of the election, and now we've kind of getting our feet on the ground to learn more about the city council operations. Even though both Brent and I have been to a lot of city council meetings, so we know a lot about the process. But now we're learning more about the details, and we're meeting with staff, and it's been. I'm looking forward to it. We do get sworn in tomorrow evening, and we're going to be sitting in on our first meeting.
What does your family say of all of this?
Well, it was a very family-oriented process. My daughter just graduated from college, and she really was a large part of our organization for our campaign. She walked 3 or 4 days a week. I walked with her many days of the week, and she did a lot of the organization. It's it's a great thing. My husband's been very supportive. Our son is away at college, and he even voted by mail, and I confirmed that it was received at the county clerk's office. So we're pleased. We're looking forward to working on behalf of the citizens of Reading.
You got a lot of support in this election. You were second in a field of 6 candidates, and what does that tell you? Do you feel like that's a mandate of sorts from the voters?
Oh, we certainly appreciate this, the large support that we got as we worked very hard, for our grassroots efforts to knock on doors and, we use social media to some extent. So I think I appreciate the, opportunity to serve on the city council. I'm not really looking at numbers that way. I think what I've heard from right before the election and right after the election is I think people are looking forward and not in the past, and they are looking forward to a council that works together, that thinks the issues thoroughly, thinks about them thoroughly, and looks at what's best for the whole city of Reading. So I think people are feeling more positive about it. Maybe it's just we were all ready for the election to be over, and now people are wanting to move on. And I think that they're looking for us to be responsible and work together.
In talking to people, have the issues changed, or do you feel like the priorities that the council should have remained the same?
That's a good question. I think the issues are pretty much the same that we saw during the campaign and during all the candidate forums. We still need to address public safety, which includes several different things. And one of the benefits we have is that a large group of people got together with the Safe City Project and really have created a lot of awareness about opportunities that other cities have taken to address some of the same concerns that we have in our city. So I think that's a nice way to start out by looking at what are some of the opportunities we can use to address the difficulties we have with our public safety. Finding funding is another really tough issue because Measure F did not pass, and so we need to see what our alternatives are after December 2nd.
Yeah. So what is the first thing you want to tackle, and how do you do it?
Oh, I think public safety is one of the first things we need to tackle. It is one of the most I think one of the most pressing issues that we did hear about on during the campaign, and it certainly is important for a lot of reasons, because if our community members don't feel safe, our businesses are being broken into. It's just a way of life that we can't continue seeing things that we see now. So I think we're willing and able to get together and work with the chief of police, and also, we have public safety. I also include in their fire protection, because their staff are also down. They have grant-funded positions that will go away next year, so we need to find funding for those, as well as the needs of the police department. Homeless is another big issue. We've seen a lot of work. I think we've seen more work going on, on that issue now than we have in the past, and I support, looking at how we can collaborate better to address all of these issues.
We'll come back to the homeless issue,
Okay.
but since we are on that topic of public safety, would you support a sales tax initiative?
I have already supported Measure F. I actually believe that realistically, with our needs, I would support a half cent. I supported the quarter cent because that was what was put before the voters, but I think a half cent is more realistic in addressing the needs that we have currently for public safety, which is working with the county and addressing not just the number of staff the police have, which needs to be improved and increased, but also looking at incarceration, looking at alternatives to sending prisoners out of the area, increasing work release programs, all of those. So all of that costs money. We need to identify the priorities, working with the chief, and then establishing funding sources, and really looking at a plan on how we need to address this by prioritizing and figuring out where the funds can come from.
A general tax or a dedicated specifically to public safety?
I think we should do, I'm hoping that the community members who will be looking at this issue will consider supporting, along with the council, supporting it and sharing information with the council. I think we should look at 50%. We got 56% at this last time. So I think people have shown their interest in wanting to support increased tax for public safety. In Anderson, I think 50% went to public safety and 50% went to the general fund. I'd be looking at recommendations from the chief. It depends on what our needs are and what the costs are, and how we divide that out between the total amount of tax revenue made available. But I think 50% is the threshold that we should aim for.
Speaking of you being sworn in on Tuesday, that means that you're now on the council, and are you looking at the liaison assignments that you'd like? So the question is, what liaison assignments interest you, and what are you hoping for?
Oh, yeah, I know there are a large number of liaison assignments or possibilities, and with my experience in collaborating in the community already, I'm looking forward to however I can assist the city council in working with other either through the departments or organizations or commissions. Whatever other council members are interested in too. I think they're going to find a balance with what our interests are. I'm pretty open. I will work with and whoever decides what committees or what liaison positions we have. I'm open.
Okay. You're one of 30 people who was selected to participate in that initial launch of the Prosperity Initiative. Tell me about that. Tell me about the project and what your role is.
I think I appreciate you wrote an article recently that there was an editorial about prosperity, and that's great to get the awareness out. It's it's an example of another collaboration in our community where we look upstream and look at what are some of our generational cycles of poverty that we have, or generational cycles of issues that really instead of just looking at the fixes of providing increased job opportunities, what are our community members, what are their struggles, what are their obstacles, and if we get a wide range of people in our community, including businesses, including education, to say, really, what are the core areas of difficulties that our community still, some members of our community aren't as successful, and they're living in less financial means. They might be homeless. They might actually work and be homeless. And so I think we need to sit down. And prosperity is an example where the United Way and Health and Human Services have been collaborating to form this idea that's based on models in other communities. And one of the great things about United Way is they have access worldwide to ideas that have been working in other communities similar to ours. And Health and Human Services, they have been for years always looking at what can we do to help improve the conditions of our community in positive ways, and by preventing things that later on become larger difficulties. So if we have high rates of our community members who aren't educated, with a college degree or higher, and that has an impact on their lives, they're then not as likely to get as well-paying job, or they don't make as healthier choices. They have struggles later on. So I think Health and Human Services have been involved for a really long time. I've been part of Reach Higher Shasta, which is another collaboration that Health and Human Services with the County Office of Education, and a collaboration of all school districts in the county to improve the education levels and success for our students. So that's similar in the goal of helping our community be better prepared for our work here in our community and really in the global economy. So I've been pleased. I was invited. I was part of, I think it was a questionnaire kind of interview process, and then I was invited to attend. It's probably because of my past experience working with Charlene and Wendy Sanatelli at United Way.
Do you see a potential for a program that may help bring up some who are in those lower rungs?
Oh, sure. I think if you work at things, this kind of an approach will take years. It really will take many years of commitment from many people in our community, investing time and, in some cases, money with which would be grant funds, most likely, and helping with maybe job skills, training, financial literacy. Some people find that the barrier is they don't have checking accounts, they don't have savings accounts, and partly for many different reasons. But if we figure, one of the next goals of Prosperity in January is to kind of look at more of the data that's going to be available later this year, and see and have the community, when they get together again, decide what are the most important things and what are the things we need to tackle for our city, for our community.
What is the council's role in this?
I think we should be part of it. Initially, when they invited me, I wasn't a member of the city council. So whatever role that I can be involved in on this organization, this new collaboration, I'd be happy to. But I think the city, this is an example where the city has some funding, for example, through the housing department, and through block grant funding that can go towards projects that have specific benefits to low income. They do now. They help with housing. With block grant funding, goes to many different programs in our community that have a lot of positive impact. So the City of Reading already does some of the work. We also were participant with the Continuum of Care. We help fund a portion of that program. Jessica Delaney is the contact person there. So they already have, and if there's a role that I can help play, I'd be pleased to help. Maybe work on behalf of and just work with the Prosperity Initiative, however it works out. But I think the city does have a role along with the county.
Okay. Going back to the homeless issue that you brought up earlier, what direction should the council take in dealing with some of the issues that we have with homelessness?
Oh, well, I think it was one of the topics that was in the Safe City project. I think we need to look at, and one of the proposals in Chief Paletti's course of action plan was to look at a strategic plan. I think Jessica is working on that, and they're laying out some opportunities to start working on that through the Health and Human Services again, and really identifying. I think one of the points that was brought out at Safe City project is we really need to get everybody in the same room. I know this is the exact point they made, but in the forum that I put on in August, I felt like we needed to have everybody communicating at the same time together, finding out what programs are working, which ones should we support, the community support, and what are some of the gaps in the services, so that other communities have long-range plans, whether you call it strategic plan, 10-year plan. Some communities like Fresno, just read an article in the Fresno Bee, they're making inroads or making positive advances towards reducing the number of homeless by programs they've been implementing, they've been working on for like 4 or 5 years. So we need to get started on a plan and, bring everybody to the table and find out what's working.
How soon does that happen?
Soon. I think they're working on steps right now to lay out the groundwork for starting a plan. Started planning, that would be partially led by the Health and Human Services with Jessica Delaney and the police department, who's had an active role in the outreach that they've been doing all summer long. I went on one of the outreaches, and they, have researched, have a survey of, meeting with the homeless to find out what some of the areas of concern are. But then there are also, the area of homeless, which are the encampments, which really was mostly of what Safe City addressed. We really need to put more teeth into what we can do to protect, the community and protect the environment. It's not safe in many instances where the homeless encampments are. The fires that were started this summer. It's we really need to evaluate that from the public safety enforcement angle.
Okay. Switching topics here. But regarding that much mentioned Economic Development Administration letter, do you think it raises any sort of concerns about the communications between city staff and the council members?
Oh, I think that the city staff and that project, from what I understand, I'm just going to give you, because we are new and just coming into this, we've gotten a lot of information to read over just recently prior to tomorrow's meeting. But it looks like from any real estate transaction, especially one with as many years and as many activities that have been going on, without those parcels. And I think there were a lot of details. I don't have a problem with what the communication levels. I think the staff are excellent. Everybody I've met with, I think that there might be a perception of things that people aren't sure about, but if you really look at it, I think at the end of the day, we're going to find out that the city of Reading, their staff, and the city council made the right decision to sell the property to McConnell and to support it that way in building the hotel, which has a financial benefit to our community for jobs and for individuals working in construction and at the future hotel. So I think in the big picture, it's the best thing for our community. I will hear what some of the council members have to say tomorrow, and the staff. Further information. It's on an agenda item, and I'll wait to hear more information. But I am fine with what I've heard from so far.
Okay. Wrapping it up here, for the first time, social media played a role in the Reading City Council race, or at least that's what we were able to perceive from this election. And you were one of those candidates who led the way on Twitter and Facebook, and so. Can we expect that you'll be using that sort of platform to communicate with your constituents? I
think it is very valuable. I think Brent did the best on social media, and he's sitting right here. I'll have to give him a shout out. We did well. We had support from my committee, and my daughter was a big help to me on that. With that, I think it's an incredibly valuable opportunity to get information out, create awareness, let people know what's going on, what you're thinking. So I think we'll continue to play our part in that part of, that way of communicating. I don't know if it's a central piece of it, but we'll do our best to keep things posted and create awareness.
How do you, beyond what you do at the city council meeting, are you planning any sort of way to stay in touch with those constituents? Or
Oh, I think you're right. Social media is a good way. The old-fashioned emails I send, I continue to send emails out to supporters, and so I think I think the other way that I continue to communicate with our community is through the collaborations that I'll maintain in our community. I'm still involved, like I said, with Reach Higher Shasta. I hope to continue to be involved with Prosperity. So it's another way to communicate and create awareness about what are the good things we can look forward to in the coming year about how we're going to address the issues that affect people in our community.
Okay. I don't think we have anything else. So that does it for our time with Kristen.
Thank you, Jenny.
And we just want to thank her for stopping by.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.